Good morning, my friends. Today we're off on an adventure. I am leaving downtown Columbus and I have a 3.5 hour drive into western Pennsylvania. I put out there on the internet that I needed some Pontiac stuff, specifically a Quadrajet Pontiac cast iron intake manifold. And a viewer reached out to me directly and said, hey, I have one. You interested? I also have a couple of other Pontiac parts and I have my very own badass Pontiac. Well, hell yeah, I'm interested. I'm on my way, sir, and I want to see what you've got. I appreciate the hookup. I'll see you in about 3.5 hours. Welcome to a brand new automotive adventure with Austin. We're probably also going to have a guest star in this one later on in the day. Stay tuned. Welcome to the never going to be completed 71 and 70 interchange here in downtown Columbus. We just added an extra decade onto this construction project, which is great. All right, let's pack it in. 2.5 hours east, and then we take a left. Oh yeah, and by the way, for those who are interested, I do have my Fufu coffee with me. Man fuel. Welcome to the Ohio Valley area. That is actually the Ohio River over there, and on the other side of that river is West Virginia, or as many of us like to refer to as West by God. Yorkville, Tiltonsville, Raylan area. Definitely steel country. Used to be way back in the day. Probably should make a video about life and culture and everything that's going on out here and how things are these days. Definitely a different world than it was many decades ago. Just hit a pothole a little bit ago, a couple moments ago, right front corner, and hopefully this video doesn't take a side item into a flat tire. We'll see. Area of the world is very, very heavily dependent on industry, resource extraction, energy production. Interesting area of the world for sure. Unfortunately, also gone through a lot of really hard times. Still going through a lot of really hard times.
Welcome to West Virginia.
Yeehaw! Welcome to West Virginia. This is just a tiny little bit of West Virginia. We're going to kick it on up the river, back into Pennsylvania. 3 states in just a very short period of time.
Welcome to Pennsylvania.
You heard the lady. Welcome to Pennsylvania. Just like 10 minutes of West Virginia. Did you feel like you had a good time there? All right, 30 minutes until we're where we need to be. Nice. Woof. $4.59 for premium. Ouch. Check that out. That's something you see every day. Nuclear cooling towers. Huh. Not to take this off on a tangent or anything, but as a country, why haven't we done more of that? We always constantly need more energy production. It does fuel the entirety of the universe.
Slide left onto the ramp to Beaver Midland Road.
Why don't we do more of that? Anyway, almost where I need to be. Enough of that. Nobody cares about your opinions on this stuff, Austin. Right next to Marathon Distribution Center. Well,
in a quarter mile, turn right onto 12th Street.
That could have something to do with it. Welcome to Midland, Pennsylvania.
So it was like, yeah, cool.
So, when you talk about somebody that's got Pontiac stuff in their blood, how about this? Family-owned Pontiac dealership. That is awesome. That is about as legit as it comes when it comes to Pontiac hobby. So folks, this is Rob. Good to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you.
This is why I am in Western Pennsylvania. Not for that, though I would love to take that home with me. I will own one of those in my future. But you have some Pontiac bits for me.
Yep.
I think I just stepped on them. We've got some BOP transmissions here.
Yeah.
And then you have an intake manifold that I'm going to be taking off your hands.
Right there.
Which is this guy here. And as I alluded to just a moment ago, you're a Pontiac guy, like, in your blood from moment one kind of guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. So you guys your family owned a local Pontiac dealership here?
Yeah, in town, right, like a couple blocks from where I live, we had a Pontiac dealership in Oldsmobile in '85 till from '54 they started until 1998.
Fantastic.
So I worked there from the time I was 13 until I was 18 in the back, detailing cars and then running for parts and
That's awesome.
that kind of stuff.
So now you own, I'm going to guess there's probably been a couple of Pontiacs in your life.
Yeah.
A couple.
My first one was a '59 Pontiac Catalina 389. It wasn't a factory tri-power. We put tri-power on it.
Yeah.
That my dad and I redid at the shop. And then we had that for 10 years. And then I got it back in 2018 from the guy we sold it to. And I had it for a little while, but it needed some extensive work then. It sat outside and I ended up selling it. Actually, I know the guy that has it now. He has it running and driving and enjoying it.
Good.
And he's like 83 years old. He's a super great guy. I went and seen the car and he's like, I'll let you drive it, take the kids for a ride. He's awesome.
That's fantastic.
And then I bought this in 2018. And I always wanted a first gen Firebird.
Yeah.
So this was a 6-cylinder, 1-barrel, base model, 2-speed BOP, 300 turbine. And then I put a 68 350 in it. And it had a 204R trans for about 2.5 years till I smoked it, and then it had a turbo 350 in it. And now it's getting this 455. It's
Iron-headed 6X. I like it.
They're 6X8s. They're milled. I milled the heads down to 90cc chambers, so it'll be about 9.5 to 1 to compression.
Okay.
Did a valve job on it. We did some port work to it. It flowed 250 on the bench.
Okay.
And it's got a Ram Air 4 flat tappet cam that we're gonna, hopefully it's gonna work. It's not gonna wipe the cam.
Yeah.
We did a lot of research on lifters. They're Summit lifters, but they look like they're machined right, and the machining looks right. It has the right bevel on it. We checked them all and like really went through it all. So
Then just say a prayer and light it off and see what happens.
We left the inner valve springs out of it.
Yep.
So hopefully it should break in just fine, and we'll see how it goes.
This is actually probably very similar to my 455 that's in my 70.
It would be very similar to the specs of yours for sure.
Yeah, because I'm running 6X heads, tiny little bit of work, but just kind of basically cleaning up like the bowls on them. But 9.5 to 1 compression. What year is this block?
72.
Exactly the same year as mine.
And it's a stock bottom end. It's totally stock. I haven't done anything to bottom end yet.
Okay.
See, when this motor ran, I fired it. It ran, and then when I started tearing into it, the cam was wiped.
Yeah.
And it came out of a Granville. Guy pulled it out of a Granville in a junkyard. There's an old junkyard not far from here, and he had it in his garage underneath the workbench for, I don't know, 20 years. So I bought that and, well, some of the heads you're getting, and I bought it a package deal. I had that, all the Pontiac stuff he had. I had some heads, and I had bought some other stuff off of him before, and that turbo 350 trans came with it. And,
okay.
So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
I even got that intake in the deal, but it didn't look like that.
Yeah. Cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely.
Running an ATM carburetor, I see.
Yeah, it's an ATM 750.
All
I
right.
had it on my 350.
Okay.
It's a lot snappier. I had a Street Demon, a 625 Street Demon on my 350 for a while, and it just wasn't enough. It would just run out. Like it just couldn't put enough through it. And I switched to that, and it made a night and day difference.
Yeah.
And that was straight out of the box. Now I had some tuning done to it. There's a guy that he's our carburetor guy around here. I took it up to him, and he did some tweaking to it, and he's a test motor. He ran it on, and that's the first time he ever saw one, and he was like, I really like that carburetor.
Yeah. Those guys are the nice thing with ATM is also like they build it. It's not just like they come in a box and they're a generic carburetor. They build it pretty much around what is your application, what are you looking for.
Right.
And then you can make some small adjustments to there from as far as what you need to. But that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
That'll definitely make this thing a whole lot more fun.
Oh yeah, and I got a turbo 400 for it with a reverse manual valve body, and
Yeah.
so it should be. I got 373 gears in it.
Okay.
It was a one legger.
Yeah.
It had. I just had the VOP rear end in it, but I got a set of Yukon gears.
Oh, I love the color of the interior.
And this interior is 100% original except for that ugly shifter, which is going because I got a B&M shifter because I just couldn't afford a good one, and that was cheap. It's a TCI, but it's just yeah. I mean, it's original dash pad, original headliner, original seats, original carpet, everything.
How many miles are in this thing?
30. No, I think I have like 43 on it now. But
Holy cow!
I'm the third owner. And this is a Western PA car. It was sold brand new at Carroll Pontiac. I met the original owner. He's in his 80s. He met me at the Beaver Fever cruise in the next town over. There's a big giant cruise, and him and his grandson came down. And my seat was loose, so the bolts came loose on the seat. So it was like rocking. So I pulled the seat out and had to fix the track a little bit. It was a little wonky. And when I did that, I found a Bon Jovi ticket from Slippery When Wet Tour and an old Bic lighter. Well, here, his grandson, his daughter took this to the concert.
That's awesome.
And the ticket stub was underneath, so I gave it to him.
For sure.
So he gave it to her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. That's the best thing about old cars.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Just the history and what goes along with it. And
dude, I'll be honest, I would own this exact car. I like the color. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it's not perfect.
That's exactly what you want. If it's perfect, you're never going to play with it.
Oh, well, I drove my 59 everywhere. I mean, I drove it everywhere. I took it to concerts in the city in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I took it to Deep Creek, Maryland. When we would go on vacation, I'd drive it down to Deep Creek. I'd run it everywhere. And that's this thing here. I run it. You know, I want to take it out to this drag strip and play with it a little bit out at Quaker City. It's not too far from here.
Well, a decent 455 and 373s, you ought to be able to move it pretty well.
I'd like to go 13.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
That's what I'm thinking.
Easily.
Yeah, we're estimating 450, you know, maybe between 450 and 500 horses is what we're thinking.
Yeah, I made 440 on mine and 520 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
And then I'm pushing a LeMans, a full-body LeMans
in 13s.
Into mid-12s.
Well, yeah, because Bob kept having to hit the brakes.
And that's with the carb not doing well and the shittiest intake manifold you could put on the car.
What intake manifold do you have on it?
Performer. Edelbrock Performer.
I have one right there.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're what I wanted to do was not break everything attached to it, because that's still a turbo 350 car.
Yeah, that's what you said.
With a Pontiac 10 bolt in the rear. So like we choked that motor down as much as we possibly could because I didn't want to break anything else.
Yeah. Well, that's this one. It has a Pontiac 10 bolt monoleafs because it was a 6-cylinder car.
Yeah.
I have old school competition slapper bars on it. Competition engineering slapper bars. But I do want to go to like a split monoleaf with cow tracks is what I really want to do. But
yeah,
you know. You know how it is. It's expensive, man.
Hot rodding's an expensive hobby.
It's fun though.
It is. It's such a clean car. It's not perfect, but that's exactly what I love. And I love this color. I love the wheel choice to it.
It was painted sometime in the 90s, and there's some bad body.
What color is the carpet? Is it black?
It's black.
Okay.
Yeah, it's black.
So I don't know if you've seen this, but I don't even know if I've shown this on the channel much at all, but my 71 Le Mans,
The green one?
the green one,
Yeah.
was a green vinyl top,
Green interior.
green paint, green interior, green carpet.
Yeah.
Only somebody from 1971 would think that's an attractive looking color. But I love the color choice. Like the look of this is fantastic. I love the black carpet as the offset too. I would 100% rock this car exactly as this is.
Yeah, people are like, are you going to paint it? And I'm like,
No.
I might paint it someday. Because I want to, it's got some bad body work up front, right here. Right here in these corner.
Yeah.
And actually, I think this piece here, the lower balance is actually, I think, a 68.
Okay.
Or, because I think there's like a patch welded in here. And that would be for the corner piece for a 68. So I think somebody redid this car in the 90s at some point. And,
That's okay.
But I want to get a front clip for it. And then I bought that 69 Trans Am hood for it.
Yeah.
Just because I love those long scoops. But I don't know if it's going to work. Because it sits pretty high. So I've been looking at scoops like, kind of like the scoop Freiberger had on his, on the Camaro, the Crusher Camaro.
Yeah.
I've been looking at scoops like that, the old GM style, like super stock scoop.
You'd be surprised how much you can fit underneath the hood of these things.
Yeah.
You'll know one way or another.
Well, I'll definitely find out. 'Cause
Yeah, we're gonna work.
I have the original hood, so,
Okay.
but we'll see how it goes.
That's cool, man. I would 100% rock this thing as is. Is this gonna be a done this summer kind of thing?
Oh yeah.
Out and about?
Yeah, it'll be. I'm real close to having this together.
Okay.
I just have to put the valley pan, timing cover on, bolt the intake on.
This annoying ass gasket that always dies.
Yeah, yeah. I've been fortunate. I never had that gasket leak.
Oh. That's what took my green car down, was that this piece lost. There's a rubber gasket piece O-ring, the really thick sumbitch that sits here, and when it goes bad, it will evacuate that coolant out of that motor in a hurry.
Quick.
And that thing went literally full nuclear.
I busted this bolt off
Ooh, in the cover.
in the block, and we ended up having to. It was out far enough, but we tried to get a hold of it and weld a piece on, weld it, and it would knock them out. We ended up having to drill it. Thankfully, we got it drilled and close enough that we could run a tap through it, where I didn't have to use Healy locks.
Nice.
It was like, we got real lucky on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a pain in the butt. That was like,
I get it.
when I snapped it off, and I screwed up. I got all excited when I got the cam in and everything, and the timing set on and everything all set up, and I started grabbing bolts and putting them in, and here I had a brand new set of bolts from Butler.
From Butler.
Yes, I bought a complete set, a whole kit for everything, and I'm like, and I didn't run a thread chaser through, and
Yeah.
that was my own fault.
Yep.
But live and learn.
It happens.
Yeah,
It happens.
It's fun.
All right, so the reason that I'm here buying this is because I am building two Pontiac motors, if you don't know this. We're building two Pontiac 350s, a normal 350 and a 350 HO, and I have a 455 one in my 1970 Le Mans. And as we're going through these builds, a lot of people have been having conversations about testing intake manifolds to be able to see what does what and how they all work. And I, for all of my Pontiac stuff I have, do not have a cast iron Pontiac intake manifold with a quadrijet setup. So this gentleman has one. I've reached out to two other people on Facebook who have some listed, and they just ghosted me. So, like, well, all right, to hell with you. I literally had one guy, and I'm not going to call you out on by name, but he posted ones for sale for I think it was like $50, and it was an hour south of me. Like, whatever, okay, fine. And I asked him, he's like, I've got a bunch of them. I'm like, okay, do you have any kind of casting number? And he's like, no. Like, okay, well, I'm probably interested, but can I get some kind of information? And he literally went completely silent for 3 weeks. And then he came back to me. He's like, well, they're out in my barn. It's cold out there, so whenever it warms up, I'll go back out and look at them. Like, you listed it for sale, man. So another week and a half goes by. He finally goes out there, figures out what the casting number is. It's not what I want, but as soon as he figures out what the casting number is, he updates the post, changes the price to 3 times what he had the listing for, and said, hey, you interested in coming to get it?
Oh, my.
Like, you little...
Why?
Yeah. No.
People, I know what I got.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what I got.
Yeah. All right, so that gets me a cast iron intake manifold. It's not exactly the one I need, but that's okay. I don't necessarily care about that. But it's going to give us a Quadrajet intake manifold that's cast iron, because a lot of people say that the Pontiac cast iron Quadrajet intake manifolds flow better than the normal aftermarket stuff you're going to buy. And as I mentioned, I have a Performer on my 455. So we're going to be able to test it. We're going to be able to run a number of different Pontiac intake manifolds to see what does what and where it moves the power band and how things react to it. So that's why I drove out here.
I'm excited to see that.
I am too. I'm
really
very
am.
interested.
Because like a lot of people don't do a lot of Pontiac stuff.
No.
You know, especially testing like intake manifolds. And
Right.
What works better than the other, and you know, so that's
The old wives' tale is that these things flow fantastically.
that's what they say. I've
So-
never ran one,
Neither have I.
so I can't.
I have no idea.
Other than my 59, it had a 2-barrel intake, and then I had a tri-power setup on it, which
Right.
is, you know, that's totally different.
Well, this is probably, I think the thinking at this point in time is I'm going to end up putting my Quadrajet that's on the 455 now on this, and then putting this on the 350 that's going to go in my green car to take it back to factory original
Like-
Quadrajet, everything.
stock, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't need that car to be a race car. I don't need it to be crazy. So I'm going to put it back on Quadrajet 350 with, you know, intake or exhaust manifolds instead of headers.
Right.
And then just leave it alone. I don't need it.
Great cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks correct. I don't need it to be a race car. I've already got enough of that, and I'm going down the path for more of it.
It's like an addiction.
It is. It's a horrible addiction. It's cost my car addiction cost me way more than a drug addiction ever could. I would have been dead by now if I'd had as many drugs as I've bought in spend cars.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this stuff loaded in the back of my Volkswagen.
All right.
Very cool. I'm excited. This is gonna be awesome. And
Yeah.
you were initially gonna take these to Dion, to Vickers.
This one I was.
Okay.
This one here, I don't know anything about this one. This
Okay.
one here, I literally just pulled it out last night.
Oh, okay. Wow. Last
Like,
night.
Yeah, last night.
Okay.
Because I pulled the 350 that I had in it, and I sold it to a guy in Indiana, the state, and we pulled the motor out. It was Good Friday, me and my brother. He drove down here. I said, you want me to leave the motor in the car? He said, yeah, leave it in the car. I want to go for a ride. Okay. I pulled the car out, had it ready to go. He got here. We went for a ride down the stretch and back. As soon as we got back into town, he was like, I'll take it, handed me the money. We pulled in, I backed it in the garage, and I started ripping it apart.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I took the motor, and then I wasn't going to put that tranny behind the
Yeah.
When I bought this tranny, the guy said it was supposed to be a TCI. I don't think it is. All I did to it was I put a new pan with a drain plug, a new kick-down cable, front and rear seals, and that's it. I didn't do anything else to it. I stuck it in the car.
Yeah.
And
Behind a 350, that's probably fine. Behind the torque, that's going to make probably not going to be great.
Yeah, and I had a 2700 to 3000 stall converter
Okay.
in it. But that converter's a stock converter. It came with that, so
Okay.
you can have that one. That one came with my 400, so. But I'm keeping my other converter, my little one.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that one I don't know anything about. And this one, I mean, I just drained the fluid out last night, and it was nice and bright red, and so.
I'm sure I'm going to break one of these things in the near future, or smoke one in the near future at least.
Well, yeah.
As we push I think that yellow car, as much as Bob says he doesn't want to go any faster, I feel like that yellow car is going to pick up a little speed.
It might.
We're probably going to end up putting a single plane on it and an ATM carburetor on it, so
Right.
it's going to pick up like 50 horse probably off of an intake and carb swap, so it's going to go faster.
This one here is like, this had to be an early one or something, because it had like EGR stuff right here, and I've only found like one other one online that was very similar to it. Because this is an Edelbrock. This is a Torker This is the original Torquer, not the Torquer 2.
Right.
So it was like we did some work to it. We did a little bit of work to it, and we had this welded up and had a hole in the bottom of the plenum that went to this. And we think that's what it was for, EGR stuff. So we sealed that all off and just.
We don't need that.
No, we don't need that. We're trying some stuff. So
I get it. I get
see how
it.
it works.
All right, let's get some stuff loaded in the back of my Passat. That's why you buy wagons, folks, right there.
Hell yeah.
Whole bunch of poncho parts. Done.
That's awesome.
So, here's the money bit,
Sweet.
and there's the bit that sweetens the deal.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Oh.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
One egg.
That's awesome.
You probably aren't going to get the reference, but it was a conversation online. Talk about the value of eggs these days.
That was awesome. That is so awesome. That's fantastic.
All right, sir. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No problem, brother.
I'll put your Pontiac parts to good use for
Awesome.
sure. I'm excited to see this thing out and running around.
Yeah, I'm ready. It's like I'm ready to go now.
Bring it to Good Guys this year in Columbus.
I don't know. I don't know where my adventures are going to end this summer, but I have everything to put it together except for I'm gonna have to get my drive shaft shortened.
Okay.
Because then I have to get a
Yeah,
yoke.
going from the 253 to the 400. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to get a yoke and the drive shaft shortened, and then that should be about it. I have the cross member for the trainee because it should be the same as my 204R cross member I had. So, and I have everything else, so it should be good. The only thing I don't know if my block has the right holes for the motor mounts, because those are different motor mounts, but they still would drill the holes, so I have to check and see.
Yep.
I haven't done that. I might have to buy the bracket for that, but other than that, I have everything else.
Well, good news is it's still winter, so you still have probably 2 months at least before you have
Yeah, driving.
fun season.
Yeah.
Around here.
Yeah, it's like the same as you guys.
Are you guys salt here? Or are you guys?
Yeah, so it's terrible. It's ridiculous.
I will say also the cobblestone or the brick road is interesting in a lowered Volkswagen. It's a little bumpy.
It's bumpy no matter what you're in.
But
they're old.
It looks cool, and I like it. It's cool. The whole little town is really cute. Come out of like nowhere, drive past a nuclear power facility, and then like bang, I'm in like this really cute little town.
Well, it's an old mill town.
Okay.
So they had J&L was here. J&L Steel.
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
huge in Pittsburgh, and that's what fueled the economy forever here. And now they have a Lincoln Park Performing Arts School, and a cyber school, PA Cyber School is here, and that has really brought the town back.
Nice.
So you know what I mean.
That's a really serious reinvention from a steel town to.
Yeah. I mean, they still have some steel over there making some. They have a couple mills over there, but they're not. It's not like it used to
Yeah.
be.
I came up the Ohio Valley up the river.
Oh,
So
did
could
you?
do like Tiltonsville, Raylan,
nice.
Steubenville, that whole area.
Nice.
So like legitimate, like this is where steel was built.
Oh, yeah.
And the community lives and dies on whether or not that steel production is there.
Yep.
Yeah. Katrina is actually from that area.
Oh,
so
cool.
I've been up and down that area quite a few times, but it's kind of one of those like untold stories that a lot of people don't really get, is like when you talk about the steel industry has changed or gone away, like this can really put a serious face to it. Like these economies in these communities lived on that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like you go into some of the other towns, in Pittsburgh, Western PA, even in Ohio, you go to,
Yep.
I mean, just look at Youngstown.
Yep.
Like Youngstown is now. I mean, Youngstown's rough.
Yeah, Youngstown has always been up.
It's always been rough, but
Yeah.
like it's a lot. I mean, it's really gone downhill. But I mean, like, I don't know. So it's really, this area is like bounced back a lot compared. But I remember back in the '80s, man, it was rough.
Yeah.
And I'm not that old.
Yeah.
I'm not like an old head, but
I get it. Well, it's cool. It's a really neat little town. You never know what you're going to get into when you're driving out here.
Yeah.
And I pulled into town. I'm like, well, this is a freaking cute little spot. And I took a right, and immediately I'm on a brick road, and I'm like, well, this is going to be a cool little spot. And all the houses are beautiful, Same design all the way down the road. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Very nice neighborhood. Yeah. Well, thank you, sir. I got some driving to do.
Enjoy your trip back?
Yeah. It's only like 3.5 hours that way.
It's actually that way.
That way. Back on the road we go. Folks, we've got some hills around here. I can't show you what this grade is, but it's got to be at least 7 or 8%. This is a hill, boys. My goodness. Also, think I knocked a speaker wire loose. I'm hearing feedback through my speakers. Man, that is a hell of a hill climb. Wow. Wow. What do you say about that? Got some nice roads out here, folks. Don't have much of any cell phone signal, but got some nice fun driving roads. I need a different gear. Drop her down, give her hell. Lots of good elevation changes, lots of good corners. Western PA's got some fun. I didn't know this. All right. Ugh. I got here just in time for the snow and freezing rain.
Yeah, and ice.
And ice. This is nice.
Looks like you're sleeping in your car over there.
I got a lot of things. Look at all my toys. Look what I scored.
Oh goodness.
2 transmissions, torque converter, 2 sets of heads, quadric intake manifold.
Which is what you wanted.
Which is the whole reason I'm all the way out here in Western PA. How far are you from Ohio? Like
About
feet?
15 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Like when you go that way, you'll make a left at the Y, and then you'll make another left, and it's like 2 miles.
I feel like I'm in Ohio.
You are. Dang here.
So oddly, we ran into each other. This is Allie, by the way. Yesterday.
Yeah.
At Jegs.
At Jegs.
In my neighborhood. And we had a quick little conversation off camera. And I am now in neck of the woods.
Yep.
So I figured I'd come by and say hi and see what's up. So what you doing?
Well, I've been playing with the tuning on my Aces.
Yeah.
So, because it's out all winter, so I'm just trying to get it tuned up just perfect. Because I'm going on a beer run in a few weeks. So I want to make sure the car's...
An extended, very fast beer run.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of fast.
Pretty fast.
It's mild.
Mildly fast. All right, so your YouTube channel is?
AutoAli.
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 All right, and tell us about what we have here.
This is a 66 Mustang that my dad and I restored together. Spent about 8 years on the restoration. Car was a rusted shell, which I'll send Austin a picture he can kind of like insert what it looked like.
Yeah.
It was bad.
This does not look like a rusted shell anymore.
No, this car is, the only original parts on this car is the roof, the transmission tunnel, and the rockers.
Wow.
It's got all new floors, the trunk's been all redone, it's new quarters, doors, fenders, new hood. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of work.
And you and I met on Power Tour.
Yes.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
I think?
Yeah,
2 years ago? It gets blurry in the old age.
Oh yeah.
And you power toured this thing.
This car's been on 3 power tours.
3 power tours. Fantastic.
Yeah.
What do we have under the hood here?
Original 289, mildly modified.
Okay.
Ironically, this morning I found a little leak that I got to figure out now because I shouldn't have antifreeze.
No. Not supposed to be there.
No. So this here, mildly modified, and I put a full Aces EFI kit on it.
Oh, so you have timing too?
Yeah. Which, it's actually kind of nice to be able to tune them like this.
Yeah.
You know, I actually enjoy it, but come on.
I gotta say, I don't know if this is gonna come through on camera. This is not black. This is green. And that like really super deep forest green looks absolutely freaking awesome.
Okay. So we've got full polish steel shot. Obviously timing, got ceramic ended.
Dude, the plug wires for these guys?
Aren't they great?
Yes. Do not sleep on these ceramic coated ends. These are ceramic. They are fantastic. I'm a gigantic fan of their plug wires.
Yep. And the other thing I did that I just love is I did QA1 suspension under this.
Yes. Yeah.
Night and day.
I was talking with the gentleman I picked up the parts with just a minute ago. I don't even remember if I had this on camera. I don't think I did. By far, the best thing you can do to all these old classic cars is upgrade the front suspension. Like, when you complain about old cars that are crap, all you gotta do is put modern suspension underneath it and a big friggin' front sway bar instead of little twigs that they usually had in these things. Yeah. Just night and day difference.
Well, I'll crack it off a few times and shut it off so we can get some heat in the garage.
Yeah. Let me get one back here with the pipes. What do you run it from exhaust?
It's got 2.5-inch header back, X-Plate, Summit Racing, single chamber racing mufflers.
This sounds fantastic.
It's all custom built. I did it all myself here.
That's awesome. Does he represent everybody that's back here that you've run into?
Absolutely. I don't have an Austin one yet, but
Yeah, no.
I need one.
I don't have stickers.
Well, we need to get you one.
I need to probably invest in some stickers. Now,
I give you one, but I ran out.
we were discussing yesterday something that I thought was pretty cool that I'd never heard of before, which was this interstates thing.
Yes, the War Between the Interstates.
Explain this to me.
So, War Between the Interstates is a capture the flag event. We started in Tennessee, and we raced, it was a cruise, and we visited different battlefields. And as you took a battlefield, you got either 1,000 points, 900, 800, and whoever had the most points won, and it was basically a car version of the Civil War.
So, there's obviously like North versus South.
Yes.
Like, are you guys portioned based on where you fell in the Civil War?
You could
Did you pick your team?
You could choose.
Okay.
Taylor obviously went south. The person who was supposed to be our general flunked out on us at the last minute. They had other things going on. So on our way to Tennessee, I got promoted to general. So I was the general for the northern team.
Wow.
We lost, but but it was fun.
Like, I have a very diverse community of people that watch these videos. I have a lot of southern roots.
Yes.
I've lived most of my life in the south. So I can go either way on this one. I'll just be honest with that.
Yep.
That sounds like a ton of fun. I love that people are using all kinds of different ways nowadays to kind of enjoy the automotive sport. It's not just like go to a cruise in and sit around and eat a hot dog and eat ice cream.
And you know, that's what a lot of people used to do. They'd restore the cars, they took them, hey, look, it's pretty, and they're done.
Right. Get my lawn chair, sit behind my car.
Yeah. We built this car to drive the snot out of it.
That's awesome.
So even though it's still a 4-speed, eventually I want to do a 5-speed. It has a 9-inch rear gear in it with a 3.0 gear, T10 4-speed. Like, my weakest link is whatever breaks on the motor.
Which is pretty solid, probably.
It
You're not asking a ton of that.
mildly modified.
Yeah, mildly modified. It sounds healthy. It sounds healthy.
And then the interior is actually original. You'll actually see the back seat has a few tears in it, but this is actually original 266.
Wow.
The only thing I changed was the dash pad and the carpet and the steering wheel. Everything else.
The seats are original.
These seats are 66. And then that's a custom built. If you flip open the center console, you'll see my switches.
Okay.
So
And a cup holder. Look at
Yeah.
you being fancy.
So I tried to hide everything and make it removable. And you can see, like, carpet's dirty.
Yeah.
Like, this car gets the snot driven out of it.
That's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
And you went with the big screen.
I did. I went with the 7-inch. I like it.
I do too.
I mean, it fits just right.
Unfortunately, I don't think I've shown you guys this on either this channel or on the Lucor channel. We've been fighting a dickens of a time on a CUDA issue with a MSD ready to run distributor.
That was on Lucor already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it.
What I didn't include in that video is the fact that I was throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this thing trying to get it to work. So I was like, well, I'm going to update the ECU and the handheld. And I may have tried to force an update to the handheld and bricked my handheld. Mm-hmm. So the little, the 5-inch that's the customer's melted. It doesn't do anything anymore at all. So I gave the customer my 7-inch.
Okay.
Which means I need to get another one of those.
Yeah.
But
So
dude, their screens are fantastic.
So what I'll recommend to you and anybody that goes Aces, legit, when you're doing tuning and really fighting with it,
Yeah. Laptop it. Yeah,
you can do
yeah.
full remote tuning with this. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was just trying to flash a new update to the handheld, and
Yeah.
oops, that's one of the cool things with the fact that you could literally just plug directly into it and do like all of the advanced tuning options.
Yeah, it all goes through the CAN bus, and then, well, I mean, obviously you would know, but right on the top of the handheld is just a USB-C.
Yep.
Pop
And
it
you don't
in
have to like buy tuner credits or nothing.
Nope.
So you want to fine tune your stuff, you could do it right there on the the
Yeah.
laptop. Neither of us, by the way, are working for Aces.
Yeah.
We just like the product. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fan. Huge fan.
Yep.
I love the stance of this car.
Thank you.
I love the color of this car. The color, I think, is probably, honestly, one of my favorite parts about this thing. Because it's so dark, it's almost black.
Mm-hmm. And you got to catch it in the right light.
Yeah,
And
like
then
looking at it right here, it basically looks black.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that on camera looks black. But it's...
And the funny part about the color, this car was matte black. And I like the matte black. I like that primered, like, it didn't catch a lot of attention.
Sure.
And my dad, before he passed away, this was the color. Like, he found this at some obscure, like, it's not a factory color.
That was good. Okay.
It was on the coating store? Some weird place down south. And it's called Midnight Envy Pearl Green.
Midnight Envy Pearl Green.
Yes.
Okay.
So my dad found this color and just fell in love with it. And
I
then
think it's
he
beautiful.
passed away before I could paint it. So after he passed, it was like, oh, I could have done whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
But I said, you know what? I'm painting it the color he wanted.
Oh, I love it. I think it's 100% the right color.
I hated the color when I saw it. I hated the color on the computer. I ordered it anyway. I put it on the car, and I'm like, this is the best damn color you can put on this car.
It's beautiful. You know, also, I will be honest, I hate these wheels on modern Mustangs, on the ones they came on. Mm-hmm. On this car, they look fantastic.
Our O2 has these wheels on it, too.
I had a 99 GT, mm-hmm. and that was kind of the one of the wheel options that were available on that car. I ordered the 5-spoke flat, really lightweight ones on my 99 GT that I had, and I friggin' loved them. And they're also, oddly, now exactly the same wheels that I got with my Pinto that I bought from Kevin, Junkyard Digs. And I got 2 extra sets of them. So, like, I have the absolute wheel that I love. But I always thought that these wheels looked weird on the really edgy, new edge style.
Yeah, because they're very classic.
Yes, and they're very curvy.
Yes.
And that car has no curves on it. It's all
sharp.
flat. Yeah, it's all flat edges. I always thought it was really weird to see these, but I think it looks really, really nice because this car's got like nice curves to it. It's got a great stance. Now, do you have QA1s in the rear?
Yes, I have QA1 adjustables in the rear.
Wow, this thing's got a rip.
You know, if it wasn't risking ice, I would take you down the road.
If it wasn't 31 and freezing rain outside, I picked a great day to be in Western Pennsylvania.
It would be a handful in the cold and the rain.
I bet.
I'll tell you that, well, for reference, you'll notice my one scoop is missing.
I did notice that. I wasn't going to say anything about it.
I will. I lost this scoop down in Tennessee doing War Between the Interstates. It may or may not have come off above 70 mile an hour.
Okay, fair.
So I learned that if you keep it under 65,
Okay.
this scoop will stay on. The other one's still there.
Interesting. Okay.
But for some reason, the driver's likes to exit stage left.
Interesting. Okay. Need better glue next time.
I mean, it was really on there. And when I had it in Mexico, I hit 90, 95 and it stuck on.
That good Mexican dry air.
It must have been. So Tennessee must have been a little more damp.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's built because I know you're people from everywhere. In Western Pennsylvania, we got some back roads.
You know, I literally just mentioned that in the video before I got here. You've got some fantastic curvy roads with great elevation changes over here. I don't know that I've ever really driven in this part of the area before. And you've got some good roads.
In the summer, I could take you down. There's a little town called Enon Valley. I'm telling you, it's like a roller coaster.
The AMX would probably be a ton of fun on these kind of roads.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised. I was pleasantly enjoying, even with several 100 pounds worth of Pontiac stuff in the back of the Passat. It was fun.
Yeah. And then that's Uncle Buck.
Okay, let's see what's Uncle Buck.
So Uncle Buck,
as in reference to the old John Candy movie?
Yes.
Uncle Buck?
Exactly. I'll let you go through. I'm going to close this door so we have some heat.
There's a reference for you old farts.
So I bought this car off of a lady I work with. It looked horrendous. Like there wasn't a shiny spot of paint on this car.
That's a lot of car.
Yeah. Long story short, it was in storage after her dad passed, which was like 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay.
She drove it once. It was last inspected in 2015.
Wow. Yep.
2015. So she drove it one time after and put it back in storage. Well, the place she had it stored at was a friend, so she couldn't fall back on it.
Yeah.
When the roof collapsed in and dumped literally a flat roofs of water on top of the car for about 5 years.
Oh my God.
So if you look at the roof, you'll actually see a rust line where the water was hitting and taking the paint.
Yeah.
So it didn't look good. It didn't smell good.
I bet.
And she was going to scrap it. So I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you scrap value because that's all the money I had at the moment. And she sold it to me for $325. And I said, if worst case, my friend has a Marquis, she's looking for a steering gear box. I said, worst case, I'll sell it to her and be
part
free.
it out.
I got it started and running. Not well, but it started and ran because it had the 2-barrel and it was garbage. And I did a 2 to 4-barrel conversion, not knowing these cars very well and forgetting that the EGR comes up in, and I got rid of the EGR adapter and put a 2-barrel carb on it, or the adapter on it. So I was pumping exhaust gas into the bottom of the car. So it didn't run right. So I switched over, I put a 4-barrel on it, and I got that for $100. It's a $500 intake.
Yeah.
Got a
Facebook find?
Yep.
There are good deals to be found on Facebook, occasionally.
Occasionally. This had the DuraSpark, which is great on a good day.
Yeah.
And after being completely waterlogged and waterboarded for 5 years, I'm switching over to GMHEI.
Yeah.
So I did that.
100%.
Completely redid the top end, did the timing chain on it, and went to the Ford spread bore 4180. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. So did that. And
What's the ultimate plan for Uncle Buck?
originally this was going to go on a beer run. Originally.
This would be an excellent long beer run vehicle.
Yes, it would. The problem is the beer run I'm going on is 1,200 miles?
Ish.
And if I get this thing running, then I have to put tires on it because they're old.
Yep.
And all that stuff, I'd end up at probably about $800,000 to get it finished to put on the road.
Yep.
And it'll get about 10 miles a gallon.
Yep.
That car gets 22 to 23.
Wow. Even with a 4-speed in it.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
you're talking about $1,100 in fuel?
Yeah. Several $100 less fuel.
$500.
And probably cruises at high rates of speed better than this does.
Yeah.
Because it's also on, I assume, original factory suspension.
It is 100% original. Still has the what's that weird Ford Trans they used? It wasn't C6, it's an FM.
Oh, the FMX?
Yeah, FMX.
Oh, horrible transmissions.
Yep. If you look inside as it's going up, I put a platted headliner in it. Because the headliner was trash. As my homage not to luck.
I mean, it's in really good shape.
Very, very, very little rust.
Is this a Pennsylvania car?
Yes.
Okay.
But it was just baby. This has 48,000 miles on it.
48?
Yep.
Wow.
All the damage was done in the last 5 to 7 years.
Otherwise, it spent most of its life in the garage,
Yep.
I assume?
Yeah, so like the frame flake and stuff.
Yeah.
But all the damage was in the last couple of years. But yeah, it's when I get it on the road, it's gonna get QA1 Stalker Stars. So it's not gonna be, like I'm gonna drop it a little bit.
Yeah.
Use the Stalker Star shocks front and rear. It should be fun.
Now, is this your current project on the
Yes.
channel?
I'm trying to get this finished because I got a huge project coming.
Okay.
Obviously, I mentioned I lost my dad.
Yep.
That red truck out front
Yep.
is his 2011. He bought
Yep.
it brand new. It's got 273,000 miles on it. Western PA its whole life. So the frame's gone.
Yeah.
And we were back and forth about pulling the 5 liter and putting it in something like this, or doing something stupid with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to find a frame at the junkyard up, I think it was Patterson's up in Concordan, for $600.
Oh, so you're gonna frame swap it?
And it still has paint and everything on it. So I'm going to tear it down, do a full frame swap, swap the motor over, do the timing chains because they're original.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to do like a soft restoration on it and
Nice.
rockers and all that
Homage
stuff.
to Dad.
Yes.
Keep Dad's truck running. I get that.
Yep. Now once that's done, I'm starting the planning phase of my mom's Mach 1.
All right, folks. I got a 3.5 hour journey back home.
Unless you drive like me.
Well, it's freezing rain outside.
Yeah.
So
I go a little slower than
yeah,
I did
and I've
yesterday.
got a couple hundred pounds worth of random Pontiac parts in my trunk. So I'm gonna get out of here and get rolling. Again, what was your YouTube channel?
It's AutoAli, AUTOALI.
There you go. And you can see the Mustang, you can see the Uncle Buck, and there's a whole bunch of other cool stuff sitting around here that you're gonna also be able to see in the future. See you on Power Tour again this year?
That's the plan.
Well, it's a long time between now and then, so.
That's the current plan, yeah.
Okay.
Is Power Tour.
Fantastic.
Yep.
All right, guys. I probably won't see you again till the next video, so thank you for being here. This is Automotive Adventures with Austin, my own little personal corner of the YouTube internet. If you're interested in this kind of thing, click on the subscribe button. It's great to have you. If you've been here before and you spent some time with me before, thanks for coming back. And by the way, thanks for watching because you're paying my bills.
Yep.
Truly do appreciate you.
And as on my channel, we'll see you on the flip side.
There you go. All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye. I'm sorry, Summit. I just don't have time to visit today.